Hello.
Hey, I'm Jeff. I came in 11th at the Tokyo AGP. I ran Arla. I ran a mono green version of Arla that's a little bit faster than the regular type. So I'm going to walk you through the deck list right now. So obviously we run Arla. Amazing. The first thing, I'm running a green deck in New Frontiers, so I'm running 4 Tama. Additionally, Tama is actually pretty good if you have multiples to kill off an early fox play so that they can't keep a black and a green resonator open. And it can kill other elves if you have 2 of them out, which sometimes can slow them down long enough for you to go off. Very easy card, you're running green, you run 4. Along those same lines, we have 4 Sacred Elf. Again, I'm running green. In this format, you're either ramping until you go off with a combo, or you are super hand controlled. There's really not a lot of in-between right now, so being able to turn 1, ramp yourself, and also potentially scaring with Wall of Wind is a real play. Definitely run 4. Now, going along with that, we also have 2 Moonbreeze Elf. So they obviously don't produce green, and I have no way to use moon mana. However, the extra will is useful on turn 2 for ramping into any of the mana ramp spells. So it's useful. I found it at 2. It gives us a couple more options than other decks have to hit a turn 1 ramp spell. Moving forward, one more 1-drop spell is Whispers, and so because I'm a mono green deck, I can't miss with this card, which is really nice. That's one of the best parts about this deck. Whispers never misses, and at the very least, it can... this is some Japanese guy who is crazy. It never misses, and it allows us to get plays during the upkeep, or rather the before recovery phase of Force of Will. Next up is the ramp. So there's actually, I'm running 4 and 2. 4 Magic Stone Research and 2 Blessings of Ygg. 4 and 2 because this spell is actually quite a bit slower and noticeably different with the ramp combo. So if I have a turn 1 stone into an elf, followed by a Magic Stone Research, it actually leaves you with 2 mana open for a turn 2 counterspell, or a Melfee, or a myriad of, if you have another one, a cat, etc. Whereas a turn 2 Blessings only allows you to play 1-drops afterwards. So a little bit slower. I went with 4 and 2. You'll see the stone deck afterwards. That'll explain it. Next up, 4 Melfees. Besides being any color ramp, the ability to negate damage is actually very relevant. We run Whispers and a couple other cards to trigger Torrent, as well as I had to double Melfee at round 6 to block inherited cards after having final breezed Gentleman. So being able to negate damage really stops if they have a big blocker. If they happen to be playing Tree and they have Alice, this also stops that. It's solid. Next is my personal MVP of the deck, Final Breeze. Final Breeze did really, really well. It is the closest we have in New Frontiers to Law of Silence. It makes sure that they can't stop you. Generally, if you've successfully played your Secret Technique, it becomes a true counterspell. And against stealth, it is the best thing. To stop a mom and prevent dad from coming in is really, really strong. Also, if you're able to trigger some kind of spell beforehand, it keeps Bowbear from being replayed. Very powerful. Next up is filler for all the combo decks that are green in New Frontiers. Rewriting the Laws is actually really powerful because a lot of people don't want to counter it, and it doesn't really seem to be that scary, but it's essentially just drawing you a card and allowing you to have black. I run 1 Blackstone, so the ability to sometimes have that extra black mana so that I don't have to use a Memoria to make the black is nice. Good card, but never keep it in your opening hand. Some kind of extras here. 2 win Secluded Refuge. If they have Black Moonbeam and they kill your ruler, you literally scoop it up and go to the next game. Don't bother. So, have 2. Potentially you can stop the bow aspect of Bear Bow, which is the part that kills it. Additionally, draws a card, replaces itself. Wasn't always great, but at least having protection from Black Moonbeam, which was relevant, was there. One of main deck Heavenly Gust. There's enough Regalia out there, and we can trigger the Torrent easily enough that you can get rid of all the bows. Occasionally you can use it as an emergency, destroy a Leviathan. I've used it even just as a single target spell to kill a bow on the field. A solid one of, especially if we can tutor it. It's not always necessary. Heavenly Instrument, Hydromonica, excuse me. It's our search. Game 1, it's a little bit too slow, I think, because we have a very straightforward plan. Play mana dork, ramp twice, try and kill him on turn 3. So having to search for the combo is actually a little bit too slow, main deck. But in the sideboard, there's 3 more, and so this card is actually really strong if games go longer, to just make sure you can top deck your answer. Last card, probably the most important in the deck, we have our Grus Blessed Secret Technique. This doesn't really need too much explanation. I almost never found myself wanting to cast this pre-recover phase. Like, if you could, it's an instant, so we can cast it before recovery, but often you only have maybe 2 mana open, so you can't protect playing it. And unless you have multiples, I found that I always wanted to play it with protection. So that's about it with that. Just as a reminder, the swiftness on this card is only relevant if you're giving swiftness to the stone that comes into play this turn. So generally you want to just activate it on a different stone. That way it still has the ability to attack, even if they bear magic. Next up, the stone base. Very, very simple. As you may have seen by the top 8, Hook is coming back, and so having some basics is rather nice. I run 5 basic Windstones, 1 Darkness. That's why I also run 4 of the Magic Stone Research. I can go get the 1 Blackstone if I need to. Going further, some decks weren't running all 3 of the Memoria. I think that's wrong. There's multiple games on Sunday that I won because I had the ability to draw 3 cards, digging me crazy into my deck. If anyone's played Magic, it's like Ancestral Recall with a free untap. You really can't beat that. So, simple stones. Can't wait for the new Vingolf to make them pretty. Last up, sideboard. Now the sideboard is a little bit rough, I will admit. The sideboard actually changed also from this weekend. But 1 Curse of the QB, I actually don't really like this card. I probably want to change it. I didn't board it in at all. If it was a Keen Sense, I may bring it in. So 1 of, don't really like it, don't recommend it. 4 of Two Fold Chant. I really like it when you want to just stock up on counter spells. It's pretty solid. This is more of a protect your combo because Torrent's only going to be active most likely on the turn when you're going off in this case, and so it was more of a, if I knew they were going to run light and wind, then I was going to bring this in as well, just to have even more counterspells to fight with them. Moving forward, any games that we lose, these obviously come in. If we're on the play, they should come out, in my opinion. Being able to Wall of Wind a Regalia and or any 1-drop if we're on the play is really strong. I really like it at 4. I'll let you know if anything changes on that. Wall of Wind, turn 1 ramp, strong card. Next is for QB, Ninetales. If they generally go for Griffin first, which is the right play anyways, having the ability to end of turn kill it before they can sack it to the ability is kind of nice. It sets them back quite a bit, and again, we go off pretty quickly, and if they stutter at all, lose their 12/12 blocker, that might be the game right there. So, very strong card. Also kills Gwyver. And last, for all of the control decks that are everywhere, 3 more Hydromonicas. So if they start ripping your hand apart, generally this becomes a much stronger card. Game 1, we hope to win before they can go off. Games 2 and potentially 3, they're going to board in every piece of hand removal and disruption they can. And so this really lets us search out whatever we need. If we need more counter spells, we can go get that. We have tons of draw spells, so it's really not a big deal if we even have to main phase search and then use a Tama or a Whispers to put it into our hand. Especially Whispers, because then it makes it free or cheaper. So, very strong card. So yeah, so that is the Arla OTK green version. It's very strong, very fast, and the best part about this deck is you only have to play about 20-25 minutes of Force of Will every round, and then you can go eat food and have a good time. So if you have any questions, please let me know. I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care. Peace.
This has been brought to you by Card Shop Fireball.